Only the Knicks, without a top 10 pick, could somehow turn the 2022 NBA draft into a clown car, a fiasco, a hot mess. The sheer agony and chaos and confusion of last night, yet another example of why the Knicks are the absolute worst and a complete and utter punchline. All the Knicks had to do was just take one of these guys, a really good player at 11. What a concept. I wanted AJ Griffin in the worst possible way. We talked about that all week on Time to Shine. Shoots 45% from three. He was there. I love that guy. I love Mark Williams. He would have been great. I love Jalen Duren. Would have made sense. Instead, the Knicks pick some random cat from France, inducing flashbacks of Freddie Weiss and Frankie Ntilikina. Then the Knicks trade the pick to OKC for 3 first-rounders. I still don't love it, but all right. It's better. Then the Knicks take one of those 3 first-rounders, and it's incredible, and 4 second-rounders, and trade it to Charlotte for 13 of the rights to Duren. I'm still confused, but I like Duren. Okay, so of course the Knicks take Duren and Kevin Walker and ship him to Detroit for a first and a salary dump. I mean, I'm down in the dumps. In summation, the clueless Knicks, here's what they did. They traded the 11th pick, Kemba's contract, 4 second-rounders for 3 first-rounders that are protected picks. Protected lottery picks. They're protected. They're not even lottery picks. They didn't pick a player for cap room. Why couldn't you just, I don't know, pick Griffin, buy out Kemba, just like the Pistons are doing? Cap room for Jalen Brunson? Oh, come on now. And I like Jalen Brunson. He's not a star. You know who else knows this? The Mavericks, which is why they're going to let this cat leave in free agency. By the way, he's going to the Knicks because his dad is an assistant. Leon Rose, the awful and clueless Knicks president, is his former agent. We're talking about Brunson as your 3rd or 4th best player on a really good team for the Knicks. Why? I already hate the contract. It's already insane. Rose is a coward who issued a press release today, after you know it's bad, refuses to talk to the press. I mean, there's always a shot, right? Take the picks, do something with it. The Jazz aren't taking garbage for these future picks for Donovan Mitchell. That's not what they're going to do. This is a disaster. All should have been so simple. A nice, quiet, solid night. Step in the right direction for the Knicks. Instead, the Knicks decided to light the draft themselves and their entire fan base on fire. Thanks. The Knicks are the worst. Last night was the Yankees' biggest and best win of their special season. Aaron Judge, of course. And I loved my guy Aaron Judge swinging 3-0, sitting dead red and ripping a game-winning walk-off line drive RBI to beat the Astros. Aaron Judge is the MVP, and it's not even up for debate. And Judge did this about 14 hours before he was supposed to have his arbitration hearing with the Yankees this afternoon to decide his salary for this season. The Yankees smartly came to their senses and made sure that the hearing didn't happen, meeting Judge in the middle. $19 million for this year, plus incentives for winning the MVP and World Series MVP. Good. You can't mess around with the face of the franchise who is a free agent at the end of the year. You can't mess with success like, I don't know, historic ultimate success. The Yankees could easily, when the wheel stops spinning, have the best record in regular season baseball history this year. Yankees record is 52-18. 52 up, 18 down. Are you kidding? Oh, this is like fantasy land. I mean, they've won 15 straight games at home, 19 of the last 22. You knew that Judge was coming up big. What made this 4-run 9th inning so sweet? How about my guy Aaron Hicks? A bomb following 2 walks. No doubt about it, down 6-3. This was a game against a great Astros team where earlier in the contest, Alvarez went deep. Bregman went deep in the first after Altuve was plugged. So this was just emotional and breathtaking. The Astros have the advantage tonight with Justin Verlander, which made everything last night so much more important. This team is so much fun, so great in every single area. And thank goodness the Yankees themselves didn't ruin the mojo with some kind of dopey arbitration hearing. All rise indeed. Now you can focus solely on Judge winning the MVP, winning the World Series, and staying in pinstripes forever. Paolo Banchero was speechless, and everyone and their mother, including mine, had Jabari Smith going number one overall all week, all draft day. But the Orlando Magic had other plans, and I love Banchero. And I mentioned him this week as NBA ready. I called him the legit favorite for Rookie of the Year. Now, I disagree with the pick. I would have picked Smith. I'm not going to yell and scream about it. I'm not going to call this an all-time blunder. I'm not going to say the Magic should fold the franchise. Banchero's a 6'10", do-it-all stud who fits like a glove with the other young, talented cats in Orlando. I love him. I love this roster. I love the youth. He's going to be great. I just think Smith is going to be significantly better. And the Rockets stole Smith with the third overall pick in the draft. 6'10", rise and fire jumper. He has some legit Kevin Durant to his game, and I love it. And I love what Smith and the Rockets did overall in round number one, highlighted, of course, by getting the single best overall player in the draft. And, you know, this was just a robust first round for Houston. Now, Chet Holmgren went in between Banchero and Smith, and that was expected. Holmgren, he could be the next Giannis, or he could be the next Sean Bradley. I love his talent. I love his defense. He's a unicorn. He's just historically rail thin. I mean, he's under 200 pounds and he's 7 feet tall. OKC, in my opinion, phenomenal place. Phenomenal place for him in terms of market size and a squad that's light years away, but oozes young talent and picks. Holmgren's upside is off the charts. It's the downside with the body that scares me, but this draft had three special talents in it. The draft order was not my ranking. Orlando better prove to be right. Got a lot of great stuff to get off my chest on a Friday, starting with Kyrie Irving, who reportedly has a sign and trade wish list of teams that he'd like to go to if he can't work out a deal with Brooklyn. Oh boy. Let me just first guess this. You should hope your team is not on Kyrie's wish list. I'd rather play with 4 on the floor than have Kyrie Irving on my team. Look, I'm a Knicks fan. The Knicks are awful and irrelevant and need a point guard. I don't want Kyrie Irving on the Knicks because this guy's not committed to basketball. Miami? Pat Riley might kill him. Are you kidding me? And I think the Clippers make the most sense in terms of risk reward. That's the only team that I think at the end of the day, in terms of a sign and trade, that would work for Kyrie, that would work for Brooklyn. But the Lakers one is the most fascinating on a lot of levels because, listen, when you look at Kyrie Irving, he would, in fact, you see 29 regular season games last year. Would Kyrie take a mid-level exemption and sign with the Lakers and LeBron? I mean, he would because he's crazy and logic doesn't apply. Well, Adam, what about, the fact that he would give up all that money? He gave up all the money last year by not getting vaccinated. He lost major endorsements. He lost half of his salary. And Kyrie, who still thinks the earth is flat, he genuinely didn't care. So don't ever apply logic here. I still think when it's all said and done, the Clippers make the most sense. Remember, Ty Lue knows the great, knows the awful of Kyrie. That was his coach in Cleveland when they won a championship. And, you can get, if you're Brooklyn, some solid role players in return. Clippers always have to be relevant in LA with Kawhi, with Paul George, with Kyrie, the boom-bust quotient, the upside-downside, risk-reward, the positive is off the charts. With George and with Kawhi, their availability, the downside is always a thing too. So Clippers are the only team that makes sense in terms of a potential destination. I mean, you're not going to, if you're Philly, have Harden and Kyrie Irving. Let's be honest here. So, listen, I think the Clippers are the only one that makes sense. But I could see Kyrie in his warped mind considering the Lakers because, That's Kyrie. But under no circumstance should the Lakers consider Kyrie Irving. I got to get this off my chest. Kevin Durant has a better chance to win a title without Kyrie Irving. And for all the reports that Kevin Durant is watching what's going to happen here with Kyrie, look, KD with Ben Simmons, if you even get bare bones minimum, just the Philly version of Ben Simmons. And let's say you have the ability, look at the record, look at the points per game, field goal percentage. We're still talking about a top 15 player in NBA history in his prime. If you get the right role players around him, Joe Harris is coming back. Obviously you have a full season of Seth Curry who can shoot. You get the right role players and people are going to want to flock to play with Kevin Durant. Let's say you trade him to a place like the Clippers. You can get Luke Kennard, you can get Mann, you can get Morris, you can get guys. Listen, I think that with Kyrie, Brooklyn doesn't have a chance because they don't have any chemistry. Without Kyrie, Kevin Durant can navigate those waters. Look, Milwaukee would have something to say, Boston, Miami. I still think that Kevin Durant, people say, hey, monitor, he might want to trade. The best thing that can happen to Kevin Durant is at the end of the day, you see Kyrie Irving say he doesn't want to be in Brooklyn. Kevin Durant should look at that as an absolute success story because the worst decision in free agency history was Kevin Durant hitching his wagon to Kyrie Irving after being with Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors and winning those titles. I got to get this off my chest. Number one high school recruit and the nephew of Eli and Peyton Manning, quarterback Arch Manning, has committed to Texas, and Arch nailed this. First of all, we're talking about one of the best football programs out there. And when Texas is relevant, and then you factor in NIL, Arch Manning is going to make a killing in terms of name, image, and likeness. I like the fact that he didn't go and follow in the footsteps of Peyton and Eli. Steve Sarkisian is a phenomenal offensive coach, quarterback guru. Look at what he did at Alabama. Look at what he did at prior collegiate stops. Look at what he did in the pros, what he did with Matt Ryan. I think that this is just perfect. And by the way, by doing this now, you're going to see at the end of the day all sorts of recruits on offense flock to Texas, and now Texas is going to get top offensive linemen and running backs and wide receivers and tight ends and pass rushers because they're all going to want to win. It's going to increase everyone's bank account in terms of the NIL. Phenomenal thing. Sark now has major job security. This is genius on the part of Arch Manning, and I can't wait to watch it.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for more videos.